Dude, I feel like if Cousins and Thanksgiving didn't exist, no one would play Smash growing up. You know what I mean?
We've kidnapped Jmook and Pewpewu to extract their melee secrets to train our perfect fighter. How did they choose their mains? What techniques did they invent? And what were their greatest career moments?
I can safely say that like this is my chance, because like had I not beaten None, I would, who knows what would have happened.
And you beat his ass. Look at that.
I was like, I'm here. And I've never like popped off like that.
No, this was the last time that I felt like American pride, that I was representing America. There were CLG chants, there were USA chants, and then PewFat chants. Oh man, this is the big one for me.
Data sequencing commencing. Welcome to the Nostalgia Pod, where we'll be extracting your memories through a series of questions and inputs on the controllers in front of you. Do you agree?
Sure.
Dude.
I guess.
Who is that?
Zordon?
I think that's God.
I am neither Zordon nor God. I'm just the algorithm.
Okay, algorithm, I'll do what you have to say. Anything to get me out of this sunken place, so I guess let's just take it away.
So what you see before you is the character select screen. What we want to know is the origin of how you selected your main character.
We'll let you go first.
Start with me.
Yeah.
So, you know this, but I didn't used to play Sheik. I did like the good old Falco Marth secondary switch back and forth. I didn't really know. And then there's like a couple things that like got me into the character, but like one in particular was the good old like AMSA EK comeback.
Oh, yep. European AMSA.
European AMSA, EK, Netherlands AMSA, brother AMSA. One of the first like comeback videos I saw in Melee.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, like this character can do that. You can just swap over. And I was like, that move is cool. Like Sheik Fair is like, that's my favorite move. So I was like, do I do Falco? Do I do Marth? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do neither. I'm not gonna switch back and forth. I'm just gonna go with Sheik. And you know, ninjas are pretty cool, right?
Yeah, what's funny is I started with Sheik.
Really?
And then, yeah, I started with Sheik, pre-learning advanced techniques. So this was middle school, 6th grade, started with Sheik. That's when I met SFAT. And he started with Marth. I started with Sheik. And then when I started to learn the advanced techniques, I went to Fox because wave shining was cool. And that's what I did after every single day at school.
Yeah.
Like wave shine in training mode.
I mean, you're in middle school, like wave shining, like in middle school, like that's cool. And it's either that or you skateboard.
That's also when Shine Blind came out. And Shine Blind is like, that's like the Fox combo video. But anyways, started with Sheik and then went to Fox. And then inexplicably somewhere along the way, SFAT and I swap places and he goes to Fox and I go to Marth. So Marth is like my third main technically, but.
Dude, I did not know you started with Sheik.
Yeah,
you had the building blocks, you had the ABCs, you know, you're putting the square in the, with the circle peg. Damn, so you're telling me that you picked Marth because you're like, man, I'm just such a fan of Zach's Marth.
No, it's definitely not Zach's Marth. I was a fan of our first rivals. We actually really started with teams. Our first rivals were these two brothers and they were a Marth Sheik team. And I liked Marth. Shout out to Chris. Okay, yeah, but yeah. So then I just went Marth. And then watching Ken, I'm watching Azen, and then when Mewtwo King debuted, hit the Marth, that's when I was fully into it.
Obviously you started when you were in middle school, super young, but even within a few years, like you were kind of crushing it. Like you were you were the young lad. I watched recently, by recently like past like 6 months, you versus Ken.
Oh yeah.
It was Kings Galley.
Oh, that was a nervous set.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I could tell you, like even the VOD, like you're just a wee lad. You looked no older than 16 or so.
Yeah.
And you like 4-stocked him on Yoshis.
Yeah, it was great.
I could see like the nervous excitement you had because at that time like Ken was like kind of coming back, so even just to play him at the time was.
Yeah, and he was
cool.
He was actually like one of my idols until I met the guy. But I don't know if humor is gonna get us out of the sunken place. But yeah, that's where I ended up with. That's how I ended up on Marth.
Do you have any regrets where you're like, man, did you feel like Marth was
I think when I first started picking up Marth, I had regrets because people would live to 200. But then, no, he's the right pick. He's definitely the right pick, especially for me, like the kind of player I am. Mid-range, No projectile. Bully.
I mean, it's kind of a projectile. It's a pretty big sword.
The grab is more a projectile than the sword, I feel. But yeah.
Fair. I feel like Marth is a good for you personally, because you like the slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
But he can explode.
Use 2 or 3 because he can explode. It's like a slow burn. It's like the fires.
We will now move to the scanning of your signature techniques. Please break down and demonstrate them now.
Marth meta, way less about getting someone above you and more about keeping them on the ground in front of you because of the way defense has changed. I would say my secret technique, or the technique that I'm known for, and the one that I made the most popular, is the pivot forward smash after grab. So the pivot, when you change directions within your dash range, there's a slight frame where he's standing when you're changing directions. Not all characters have this visual clarity, but for Marth, he does. And in that time, you can input a standing move. So if I'm running and I try to forward smash, it's not gonna work. But on that frame that I'm standing still, I can input a grounded move. I made this most popular at an infamous tournament called Apex. I think it was 2015. Debuted it against a player we might know named Hungrybox. And prior to that, he had a decade-long, I think, win streak on the character Marth, and I was the first one to beat him, debuted the technique, and now the pivot forward smash is like commonplace among all Marth players.
Cue the pop-off, by the way. Insane pop-off. I was in high school, and I had that downloaded on my phone. And I would just watch, I would be like on the toilet, and I'd be like, that's cool, I want to be him.
Yeah, so that's my greatest contribution to Smash, I would say. And the thing I'm most known for, or second most known for, the other one is just being a great doubles player, but I would say in terms of technique, that's the one I'll stamp in history for myself. And I'm not the creator of it, I was just the one to do it on the world stage.
What modern Sheik techniques were undiscovered in the early days?
So in the early days, so it wasn't just Sheik, it was other characters, but obviously Sheik thrives off of shield dropping, which is shielding on a platform and using, typically how you do it is you dash forward, you shield, and then you drift down to the next diagonal notch, and you can fall down. And the thing about Sheik is that she's very quick, speedy in the air, but overall her aerial drift, she kind of hangs in the air, and platforms are kind of like a way for her to extend her aerial threats. So it's you can jump and do a fair like this, but that jump takes time, right? But if you're on the side platform, if you're on these platforms, you can just fair right away. So it immediately boosted Sheik's speed in the air and allowed her to contest spaces much quicker, allowed her to scrap safer, because Sheik is not known to be you don't play Sheik to be aggressive. You're just trying to, Sheik is a no character. You're just telling your opponent no, over and over. That started to be more prominent around 2015, and that was around, I remember my friend and I, we were one of the first in our region to file notches in our basement with something not even a file, just some prehistoric
found a way.
We found a rock or something.
Yeah, and it's not like you really measured it either. I'm sure you just put it here, right?
Yeah, well, we guessed there's 3 or so angles, and
Sure.
we tried to file it down,
Yeah.
and eventually we made it work, burned through some plastic. But yeah, that technique definitely increases. I'd say past 2015, not only Sheik, but everyone was shield dropping. That was a big one of the biggest breakthroughs in that modern meta at the time. Yeah, so you see that nowadays. Something that that I'm known for, I guess, is just the concept of walking in melee. I feel like Sheik,
The jaywalk.
the jaywalk, which is really a fitting name, but walking with in melee is interesting because most characters, when you want to take space, you dash forward, or you wave dash forward, and more often than not, that's good because you're quick, you take space, but when you're in dash, you don't have access to your normals, your tilts. You can't F tilt out of dash, you can't do anything. And the thing about walking, why Sheik's walk is so good, is you're able to like flexibly, slowly inch your way, take space, while having access to your tilts. And I think that's what makes her so good, is that in conjunction with dashing forward, moving backwards, is that you're able to slowly take space, but be threatening and being able to grab and be more slow but steady. And yeah, that's not so like, obviously, I didn't invent walking. I did not invent, you know, I think like Borp almost. I think Borp is, if there's anyone that you know, was able to use the...
I'm gonna give it to Dreffin.
The sticks and stones. Dreffin, of course, yeah, 03, super old school Sheik.
Right.
Shouts to Dreffin.
Can you show me how to do the Jmook recovery?
The uppy?
Yes.
Yes. So this is something I discovered on accident, because I was like, you know, the good old UGK Marth is too fat, get up attack. And I remember seeing that, and this was like around, I think 2021, so like a couple years ago. I was like, I wonder if I'm able to do this with Sheik's uppy, where if they get up on the ledge and I'm like right on the lip. I didn't know if it could work. I didn't know if it was like a thing. But I was like, I wonder if by pushing them off, the bones of the other character will push Sheik back off and you're able to grab ledge.
Okay.
And I tried it once, it worked, and I sent it to, I remember posting on like Twitter, and Practical Task, he explained it in full depth. But you actually can't do it. The thing about this one in particular, you can do it diagonally, like upping like this.
Yeah.
On both sides, but it's a little harder.
Okay.
But the reason why it only works on the left is because if you try and uppy straight down on the right side, she turns the other way.
What?
Yeah, it's super weird, but if you uppy straight down, she turns the other way.
Only on the right?
Only on the right side. Honestly, I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why. I know there is some sort of explanation. I don't know. Yeah, it just so happened that on accident, I happened to try on the left side, which only works on the left side, and it worked.
Okay, so the scientific reason why it works is, can we do it really quick?
Yeah. There.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the reason why it works is you're going right here, and as I'm doing normal get up, my ECB pushes you off. Okay.
Because the game is essentially saying like, hey, these two characters can't exist in the same space at once. It's either this character pushes forward or this character pushes back. It just so happens that Marth's neutral get up is close enough to the ledge where if you uppy right, like for Battlefield, it's like right on the yellow. It's super specific. Like honestly, like I miss it a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's super tough. I miss it in tournament, but I mean when it works, like it also like works against roll too.
The game keeps you in special fall, I guess. So because your back is turned, it allows you to move backwards and grab the ledge. Whereas on the right side, since it's facing you around and your back isn't toward the ledge, the game reads like you can only stay on stage.
Yeah. You can fall off on the right side, but since you're turning away, you fall to your death.
Whoa.
That's it, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What was your most memorable competitive melee moment? We will use this to create a simulation of your competitive spirit.
I think what comes to mind, brought this up before, but if there's one where if I needed to count, I made it count, and it was me versus none at Genesis. I brought this up before, but this is my first time not only in a top 8, but like in a top 8 like this with this theater. And I was pretty much not known unless you were familiar with like Tri-State in the Tri-State region. Yeah, I ended up placing second. I've never placed top 64 at a major, super major, let alone like in the top 8, go all the way to second. And yeah, this day, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, click that one.
This one? Yeah, I did stuff in the set that I've never done, period. It was like, that's what I was talking about, like flow. Like I was doing stuff that I've never, like you know, you've been on the big stage and you try stuff that you just know will work. It's like there's something in you that's like, you just know 100% that's gonna work.
Uh-oh.
That.
Oh.
I don't know why, it was like, cause this dare, like that dare is like, you probably shouldn't go for that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you should probably grab the shield because grab beats shield. But I just knew, and
yeah, and I love the choice of going down smash there because he's been jab resetting the entire time, and he's up 4 stocks to 1.
Yeah.
What is happening, man?
So unfortunate for None that he just went a little bit too low there because Jmook actually
too good.
finally missed an edge guard. Oh my goodness, this tech chase. Is this going to be a 4-stock Vish?
Dude, leave him alone.
Aerial interrupt?
Leave him alone.
On purpose?
Vicious Falcon
Uh-oh.
is in
Uh-oh.
right now.
No, none. Dude, Jmook is actually so crazy.
No, it's insane.
It's actually insane how
I
good
am
Jmook
so
is.
impressed,
And
Jmook.
Oh.
the needle edge guards to keep Falcon off stage.
And Jmook soaking in the crowd a bit there. Who is losing their
Oh,
minds
dude.
right now? And
so context for this day, like what my day was like in the morning, I woke up and I felt terrible. Yeah, I remember waking up and the night before, like, you know, I was chilling, I was going to sleep, and I think the room next to me had like 3 crew battles going on because, you know, it was Saturday night and most of them are, you know, they're out.
Right.
And they're just having a silly use
So they're just getting rowdy.
They're just getting rowdy. So I barely slept. I woke up and I felt terrible. Like I genuinely thought, I was like, I'm not sure if I can play in top 8 today. Like my nose was runny, I was congested, like I had a little bit of a temperature, and I was like, God, like out of all the times, like my first time like traveling by myself, going to a super major, I was like, no, like how does this have to happen now? So I woke up and I was like, you know what? I think I can get through. Went for a walk, got some sun, and I just like took some medicine and all. But was meditating. I think to this day, like I've never been.
I love this story.
Yeah, I've never been like, this may not have been the best I've ever played, but it was the most like locked in I've ever felt. Like it was a moment where I've never been here before, but it was like, I'm gonna do or die right now. I'm gonna just put my all into it. And yeah, I don't think I've had this kind of focus like since, which is pretty crazy to say because a lot has happened since, but I can safely say that like this was like, you know, this is my chance because like had I not beaten None, I would have, like who knows what would have happened. I probably would still go into Summit, but like the fact that I made a count for the first time on the big stage like this, I was taken back.
And you beat his ass.
And yes.
No, you beat his ass bad.
Yeah.
You're 4-stalking None, dude. Needle. Look at that.
I was like, I'm here. I've entered. Look, you know.
You beat his ass, dude.
And I've never like popped up like that. But at that point, I was just like,
All of these white shirts, by the way, are budget Jmook fan shirts, where they took a white shirt and a Sharpie. You can see all these people in the front who are wearing these white shirts. A lot of them have like the Jmook fan or whatever.
Mafia of them in the right.
What was it called? There was a name for the Jmook fans. I forget. That's a good one. See, I thought that you would pick your major win, but I know you're a fan of this one.
Can you guess which moment was most important to Mr. Pewpewu?
Yes, but I don't think it's a single set. It's probably a double set. If I were to guess, if I were to go into your mind.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, actually.
And I would say it would be the Big House set versus UGS.
That's all correct.
Take it away.
Yes.
I got it right.
Yep, Jake got it. So we had talked earlier about my most influential set, which is cool. It's great.
Pivots are cool. You know, you're changing the game.
Yeah, it's no. Don't get me wrong. That's a really good set, and that's the one that people remember the most. See, it's like the first one. Pretty much, this set was a culmination of a ton of different storylines that were all happening at the same time. So the first is, obviously Armada is the best player in the world at this point. Pretty sure he was #1 ranked. And this team, who goes by Team UGS, the undisputed #1 doubles team in Europe. PewFat, Zach and I, we are the somewhat disputed #1 doubles team in the US. And we knew that this major was gonna be the first time that the two of us ever get to play each other. Prior to this, there's so much hype. They're saying, you know, Team UGS also gets picked up by Alliance. So Team UGS is their homegrown name. PewFat is our homegrown name. They're also now Team Alliance, and we are also now Team CLG. They're also Team Europe. We're also Team USA. And this was like the climactic moment to finally face these two. And so we first faced them in the winners finals, and every single game pretty much is a nail biter. You see the end of each of these, like this is the only one that they really shit on us for. But this one's close. The next one, I die really early on the very last stock to a turnip, and we end up losing this one. And then it goes to game 4, and I think we kind of dominantly win. No, this is still close. This is definitely still close. And then it gets to the 5th game. I'm not like super huge on prep most of the time, but this is the one time that I really took prep against like counter-stratting a team really seriously, because they had set plays and they had protocols and they had this way to save each other where they would meet each other at certain angles to get hit by each other's projectiles. And Zach and I created a strategy to beat it, and we call it the play. We never made a name for it, but we had called it making the play. And making the play was essentially jumping into the projectile path that you could try to predict where the recoverer was gonna line up to get hit by the needle or fall into the turnip and things like that. And they didn't get a single one off in all of our 9 or 10 games. And so in this game, it's a nail biter. Each time someone dies, another person would die. So like, you know, it would just happen one after the other, and it was impossible for either team to get any real footing on each other. It comes to a really decisive moment. This is like the one time that I truly closed a major win, like, and it was the most important one, I think, of my career. So it starts right here. Halfway through the game, it's like dead even. And Armada's at 64, and I kill him off the side.
That killed?
Yeah, dude, that killed. Now watch. Double nair. No jump. Kill Zach, later Zach. Perfect pummel. Grab ledge, see, that was perfect. And then into the up smash, it gets stopped. But that was the game-winning play. Shield drop back here to kill Armada. So I pretty much take 3 stocks by myself right there. And then from here, it's calling a protocol. You see me say no jump, I got ledge, and we close it. And in the arena for this was the best. This was this was the last time that I felt like American pride, that I was representing America. There were CLG chants, there were USA chants,
yeah.
And then PewFat chants. Oh man. So yeah, this is the big one for me. And like a ton of my team idols and a ton of people who like I've really loved and have followed Zach and I play for so long are in the crowd. So there's like Sheridan, there's Nick Whittier, there's DizKid in here. It was just a sweet moment, and so that's mine.
At least watching that last stock, do you remember because obviously there's a bit of panic. It's game 5, you know.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, you know, I know you said you're not much of prep, but like they were a team that you like had to prep for.
Whew. Oh dude, yeah. I still get a lot of adrenaline watching this one.
Yeah. I know you guys like met in middle school, but like when did you actually like start teaming together?
Oh, well, Zach and I were friends before we were teammates, which is kind of sweet. So we were in the same PE class in 6th grade, and we had a mutual friend. I talked about these 2 brothers. Those 2 like really liked playing Melee. And I guess I didn't really talk about my origin through and through with Melee, but my origin really starts with Smash 64. I would be at a family gathering, and my cousin was playing Smash 64 with his friends, and I would awkwardly stand in the room, just like watch and not ask to play, you know?
You just be
And-
sitting there, you like legs
Yeah, yeah,
crossed,
yeah.
and be like
Yeah.
waiting to hop in.
Yeah, and like I'm just so shy and I'm watching and it's so great. And then I would play like when everyone like gets up and everything, because I'm just like a little kid. And then like in my first grade birthday, that aunt, who is, you know, the mother of that cousin, gives me a Nintendo 64. And then I just absolutely run away with it, play with it for like 2 years straight. And then Melee comes out and I don't have a GameCube, but I love to play. And then middle school starts and I still don't have a GameCube. And I find out that these two brothers, the Ings, they love playing Smash. And so then they would host these Smash Fests. And that's when I started to like play Melee. And that's when Zach and I, well, the two brothers were like, oh yeah, we're gonna team. So then Zach and I are like, okay, well, you know, I guess we're gonna team.
Yeah.
In reality, there's like 10 people there and we're teaming in different combinations, but Zach and I, that was the one that like stuck.
I didn't know it was 64, or that was your
Yeah.
that was your way in.
That's why I'm nice at 64 too. I enter 64 at
True.
every Genesis and I make a little run. Last year I got 17th.
Dude, I feel like if Cousins and Thanksgiving didn't exist, no one would play Smash growing up. You know what I mean? Like having some cousins and having Thanksgiving and having both, like that's where you play Smash. That's where you play Mario Kart, Mario Party, Smash, 64, Melee, Brawl, etc. Like those were the OG
And
training grounds.
you know, another cool thing is that cousin eventually gave me his GameCube. So there's 2 generations of console. His mom gave me the 64, and then he gave me the GameCube, and yeah. So it's sweet. It's sweet. I have them to thank.
We will now ingest data from a friendly match between you two. There will be no consequences for losing. Or maybe there will.
All right, I'm getting out of this second place.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're kind of right about that. But.
Oh, please. Oh,
What?
please. I'm just rolling. I'm not doing anything. Oh, motherfucker. What the? It's mean. Oh, baby.
No way.
Hey, Zordon, thank you for giving me this baby lead. I'm stuck in the sunken place.
Thank you for that demonstration. For our philosophical processor, please tell us what keeps you coming back to Melee. This game is 24 years old. in eternity amongst amphibian species.
Yeah, what keeps me coming back to Melee? I mean, I've been playing for so long. First of all, it's the most responsive, snappiest game to play of all time. That's constantly teaching me about myself, and that's constantly pushing me to be emotionally strong and physically strong in the game. I think it's the one game that can really, it's constantly building on each other. I can't ever make up my mind what's stronger, like being physically there or being mentally there. And then outside of the game itself, I would just say the storylines, the players. I love the professional players. They're such divas. They're also interesting to me. And then lastly, it's the good memories.
A little bit of both. When you play it well enough, it feels like, yeah, like this game understands me.
Yeah.
Like it's so quick, responsive. It's constantly innovating with new stuff. It's like to this game, like the game is like, it's 20, going on like 24, it's almost 25 years old. There's still like new stuff that's being implemented to this day. There's still things that no one's ever seen before. And I feel like it's a very special fighting game in that is that because it's a sandbox, because there's so many different variables and combinations, it keeps it fresh, and it's why everyone can find their can relate to it, because it's a mirror for the person that they are, like competitively, mentally. Yeah, this is by far, like, if people are like, what's your favorite game? Like, this is always the number one for me. Whether or not I love Shadow of the Colossus, FF, whatever. It's like no, Melee is always at the top. Melee has provided me some of the best people in my life. The first like competitive outlet where I truly like learned how to perform under pressure. And granted, like I could have kept going with sports, you know.
Right.
I could have just stuck with that, or music or whatever. But like it was more so like the people and the people I looked up to when I was younger, because we both started super young. We had elders, we had masters, and yeah, it was just the community, the scene. It was diverse. It was a place where you could get home for the bus or come after work, and suddenly you're like, no, I'm not Dave. I'm Ram. I am Ram, the Wisconsin Falcon player. And that's you, that's your character, right? It's like people love, it's an escape. It's a good escape from the monotony of life, and it offers you something to like test yourself in and meet some pretty cool ass people, honestly. Like I've really, my best friend I met at my first tournament, and it's just offered me so many amazing memories. That's like, if I were to strip the game out, I would be like, I really don't know what my life would have, turned out to be. Who knows? But yeah, I owe it to this game for the competitive side, the community, social aspects, and so many other reasons. But it's how I met you guys too.
That was very poetic, Jmook. The algorithm thanks you and recognizes you are pure of heart.
Thanks. I was wondering. I was wondering. It's like that's honestly the first thing I said when I woke up is like, I wonder if I'm pure of heart today. And so, thank you.
Before we return you to your world, we ask if you have any parting words or advice for newer generations of your kind.
Let's start. Advice to new competitors: get out your fucking house. Like, go to a tournament. Doesn't matter how good or bad you are. Just get exposed to the environment. Get out of your living room. There's so much more to be discovered there. I want to challenge all viewers who play or enjoy Melee, go to one tournament this year. That's it. Just go to one. In terms of how I see the game, where it's going to be in 5 years, absolutely still here. Some of our best players today are still gonna be playing as well. And there's gonna be a hell of a lot of new faces too. OG Kid, yeah. I think Mango will still be playing in 5 years. Zane, Cody, Moki, to name a few.
The classic Scar quote, which can be included in this video. there is so much more Melee to be played. And within the next 5 years, and it definitely boomed when Slippy came out, Melee is only going to be more accessible. It's going to be accessible to more people. You're going to be able to play it. Like if we have Slippy now, with the next 5-10 years, I wonder what the next step is going to be. And regardless of like you said, like there's much more to Melee than working your 9 to 5 and coming home and playing Philip. Like,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Like that sucks. If that's your only window, and like I'm not saying there's a ton of people out there, but I'm sure there are people whose only sliver of Melee is through coming home playing unranked after work, and that's great for the accessible thing for Melee, but it's the going to local, dude. It's putting on the cape, being Ram, and having that second place to be, not person to be, because you're not like, unless you want to be like an anime character, that'd be cool too. I think in the next 5-10 years, like the top players will still go on. The new guard right now, starting to find their footing, and I'm wondering if, God forbid, Mango or HBox or Chara, obviously they're not going to be playing the game forever, but I have a good feeling that the new guard is stepping up to pick it up, continue playing the game, and the game is just always going to keep evolving. I mean, it's every couple of years, you go back, watch VODs, the game looks, there's certain things that are slowly being implemented. Like the game's, it's not chess,
Yep.
I think the future, despite like, we may not have the gods, but I think there's so many more positive things that we can take from the scene right now. And I really think that more people are going to be able to play it regardless of, it's an older game. Mm-hmm. They have Ultimate, there's a Switch 2 coming out, but I think the game is just gonna be more accessible to so many more people.
Off topic, do you know what the NBA discourse is about, like the 90s era being the toughest era and the era that had the best players?
No, I didn't know that was a thing.
Okay, yeah, that's a thing. And I would say people look back on the Five Gods era as like
the 90s,
yeah.
And that was the basketball. Is that true? Do you think it was?
It's a different
hardest?
game. I don't know if it's the hardest because I didn't actually watch 90s basketball, but in terms of how it's talked about, it's like the same shit. Yeah. Which is my era, the golden era.
Yeah.
That's right. We're the best.
I mean, I didn't know they had TVs back then, but, it's cool. Cool they were able to, despite that.
Thank you, Jmook and Pewpewu of the Milky Way galaxy. In exchange for your data, you are free to return to your homes.
Thank you, Zordon.
Thank you. I'll do my taxes too, if you're wondering.
We actually have no concept of taxes in the Lilac system.
We made it. After you, Jake, please. The second place is a scary place.
I'd be right happy to.
Thank you, viewer, for participating in this installment of the Nostalgia Pod. Please let us know in the comments section below for any potential candidates you would like to have processed in the future. Please subscribe for regular updates, and we'll catch you in the next transmission. Ribbit!